Welcome to the Counterattack Playthrough series. We're continuing with our tutorial playthroughs of Operation Dauntless. This is scenario tutorial T5. It's called Let the Shells Fly. It's the last of the infantry-centric scenarios, the tutorial scenarios anyway. What we're looking at here is the German defense of Saint-Pierre. Saint-Pierre is composed of 4 village hexes. The goal of this game is to play 5 turns, and at the end of the 5th turn, we're going to total up victory points. Whoever controls these hexes gets 2 victory points per village hex. The Germans, not the British, will get 1 victory point for every bocage hex or woods hex anywhere north of the bordel. So that'll be basically all this stuff in here. That is bocage anyway. You also get victory points for killing things. So in general, everything you see here is worth a victory point to the British. The British in general, a lot of their stuff, victory point for killing it. Some of the things, 3 victory points. Like if you can take out a whole infantry company, that would be 3 victory points. And yeah, so we'll total up the victory points and see who wins. The British cannot win if they lose 2 units eliminated. So they have to be a little bit careful. Quick summary of what is going down. Well, a lot of new rules coming in. Units that are in blocking terrain are concealed. We're going to have ranged fire, indirect fire from like mortars and infantry guns back here. From off-board or off-map artillery. They're on the map, but pretend they're off the map. They are not on the map. So there's a bunch of artillery available to the British and the Germans. We're going to be doing ranged fire. The fog has lifted. There is no longer a limitation on your line of sight. Infinite line of sight for the tutorials that don't have fog. So for example, this guy can see this hex. But units are concealed, so we'll find out about that. This is a British battalion. We have never actually seen a full British battalion. It has a mortar unit and a 6-pounder. The 6-pounder anti-tank gun is being towed right now. Its front side is face down, so it's on its being towed side. So it's got some fast movement. When it flips over, it won't. Our machine gun that we normally have is also loaded into its carriers. So we can go 15. Back here we got another battalion, same kind of thing, loaded. Over here we have some 4.2-inch heavy mortars. Scenario rules say they're not allowed to move, so they're good. Their range is 11, which is enough to cover that. So these British guys are all gonna come in here, try to take that out. The designer suggests, and this is the designer's suggested defense, that the Germans should, try to inflict losses on the British, try to delay them as much as they can, but they don't want to take too many losses themselves, because then the British will be racking up points. They are allowed to exit the map via this bridge here, cross, I forget what river it is, the Soul or something, and exit the game. So at some point I might want to start like retreating the Germans off map to reduce the number of targets. I think that's about it. We'll learn a bunch of new rules here and get going. 1 point of setup that I missed. In this scenario, we're playing with ranged attacks, of course, but there's a special kind of ranged attack called friction fire. It's basically kind of like an opportunity fire. The designer suggests play without it and then play with it. Well, I'm just going to play with it. I don't want to film this twice. It takes long enough as it is. So there's a slightly different setup. Basically, the British get to draw 2 assets and start the game with them. And then they're going to draw 1 asset per turn. And, you don't know what an asset is, but we'll figure it out. So let's see what we get. They drew no asset and no asset. So that is underwhelming. So there are things in that cup that are assets. They're like things like, I'm assuming they're like, I don't know, corps or division or something is given artillery or air support or something. So these are going to go on 2 turns forward on the turn track, and then they'll go back into the cup. So that means the cup next time will have fewer bad draws on it. Okay, now we're ready to start turn 1 of 5, British player turn. Starting with the reset phase, and we actually get to do something during the reset phase, which is draw an asset. So those other assets were for the start of the game. Yay, no asset. Wow, that's pretty unlucky. So I'll throw that on the turn 3. We're on turn 1 right now, so it's going to go back into the draw cup on turn 3. Now for the British action phase. Okay, let's discuss what I want to do. I want to get up here and kill some Germans. Now, the Germans, or the defender, when, you know, the active player is moving, can be firing on them, on the attacker, if they're moving into or out of a field. So I want to try to avoid the fields as much as possible. Plus, they're just more more deadly. There's bonuses to attacking someone in a field with ranged fire and normal fire, I guess. So I kind of like this guy. He's kind of exposed. If I can get someone there and there, I can get a concentric attack. Similarly to this guy who only has 1 unit there without the machine gun. Another concentric attack situation possible. So I'm going to see if I can get some guys surrounding there. So getting someone in here would be good for starters. Now, of course, these guys could all combine into a big attack there. But I'm hoping I can kill someone before that happens. So, also, units that are suppressed cannot make ranged attacks. So that means they can't be doing that friction fire thing, the opportunity style fire. So I could try to suppress some of these guys. Never seen suppression before? Well, when you make ranged attacks, one of the possible outcomes is the unit is suppressed. So maybe I want to drop some of the big guns on some of these guys. So we'll see. The machine guns have the best, that I can see anyway, the best direct fire ranged attacks. It's a 4 strength. Looks like these mortars here have a 4 strength, so that's good. And then infantry guns 2, we'll find out that the 2 and 3 guys, not so hot, but they can still potentially do something. Okay, maybe for my preamble, I want to get some eyes on these guys. So they're not in blocking terrain. The only thing that's not blocking terrain is a field. When someone's in blocking terrain, they are concealed. I can't actually see them to directly target. Now, when you do range attacks, you actually target a hex. So you just have to be able to see the hex, but there's a negative modifiers when attacking a hex where the units are concealed. So I want to get some eyes on there. And potentially here too, and potentially here too. So one way to get eyes on is to put troops right next to them. If you're next to someone, you can see them. If you want to get eyes on them from a distance, well, you just you have to be at a higher elevation. So for example, this guy is upslope from here, this hex. So if I put someone there, they'd be looking down into this hex. So, they can kind of see them from above a bit. Same with this. So I think I want to put someone there. You can only friction fire into fields, so moving through like this denser terrain here would probably be a good idea. And that's what I'm going to do. So I think I'm going to grab my towed 6-pounder gun here. And it's going to go 1 on the dirt road, or tertiary road, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now it's in a field, but no one can see him because of this blocking terrain of the light bocage. 10, 11. Okay. Now they still can't see him. He is in blocking terrain, so he is concealed, even though he's moving, unlike in some games where you might be able to see someone while they're moving. Okay. To load or unload costs 2 movement points. Unloaded. Now, when you load or unload, this might only apply to infantry, but I'll have to remind myself later, but you can move up to 1 space, but this guy, this anti-tank gun, can't move on its own. It's got a dash where the movement would normally be. I'm going to just flip him like this to show that he's already done something, so he can't, fire on someone right now. The main point of this, of course, is that I can now spot these guys. The spotting is useful for directing ranged attacks, indirect ranged attacks. So, for example, let's see here. These guys, they don't really like this infantry. His range is 2, so he can only fire out to here. But let's just say his range was 1, 2, 3, 4. He had a range of 4. He doesn't. he can't actually see these guys. They're still concealed to him, even though this guy's here and can see them. So they're not in radio communication, I guess. However, indirect fire, someone that has a yellow ranged attack strength. This guy does. I don't know if you can see that, but he does. The mortar is in radio contact, if you want to think of it that way. So this guy can spot for an indirect firer. The idea is like maybe there's a forward observer for that mortar position with this guy. So I could make attacks. I could attack also with my offboard artillery, with my heavy mortars, whatever. So let's see. So I want to do some direct fire on these guys to try to suppress them so that when I bring my other guys up, they'll be less likely to take losses or be stopped in their tracks. So I was looking at these mortars here. They have an attack, a RAS, R-A-S, range attack strength of 5. Okay, and then, so what I'm going to do, I would roll 2 dice, add that to the RAS, and if I get a 14 or more, they'll be suppressed at least. Now there's going to be some modifiers. There's a bunch of modifiers for this, but one is if they're dug in, I have to do a -1. They are dug in. If the spotter is not adjacent, it's also a -1. Yeah, I think that's all the modifications. There's a whole bunch of modifiers, but those are the only ones that look to matter here. And I think that's like a 1 in 12 chance for a mortar. I only have four of those mortars. Not likely to do anything. So I think I have a better chance if I use a big gun, one of these guys. So instead of an attack of 5, it's attack of 7. And with a bell curve from 2 dice, that's a pretty significant jump. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Roll 2 dice. Adding his RAS, subtracting 2 for distant spotter dug in. So really we're adding 5 to our die roll. We need 14 or more. Rolled a 5, so that's not good. So this guy's marked fired. He's off map, but I'm going to go ahead and do another. There's no limit. I'm just going to be wasting my guy, so that's a 7. So adding 5 to this. Okay, I got a 10. So that's 15. On the ranged attack table, maybe I can bring this in here. You can see 14 to 16 is suppressed. If I could have pulled off a 17 or 18, it would also be a step reduction, or 2 step reductions for even more. It's pretty hard to get that. I'm not sure how to get that. So they're suppressed. So we'll go ahead and throw a suppressed marker down. And I'll use a British colored suppressed marker. So what does that mean? Those guys cannot do ranged attacks. That suppressed marker will come off at the end of the action phase. So they will no longer be suppressed during the combat phase. And I wasted 2 major artillery batteries to do that, but I don't know. I haven't done this before, so see how it goes. Okay, I like that. Okay, so I got the main guy for like this flank suppressed, this machine gun. These guys, they could do some damage though. But next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get rolling with some troops here. Let's see. I think I'm going to move these carrier platoons in. They're going to rush in, try to get in a good spot to help with concentric attacks. They're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I think we'll go off-roading 8, 9, 10. They're still concealed. Then I'll come down this slope 11. Entered enemy zone of control, but it doesn't matter because these guys are considered an AFV for certain purposes, and that includes enemy zones of control. But I wanted to roll down right there and stop. Now as the Germans though, I want to decide should I be friction firing these guys? Friction fire again is the opportunity fire the defender can use on you if you're moving out of or into a field. And there is no negative thing to doing that. You can friction fire as many times as you want, just once per move. You can't have like every single guy friction fire. So I guess we'll just say this guy's going to friction fire on him. So it's just like a range attack. It's going to be 3 plus my die roll, plus 1 for being in a field. And I think that's it. I'm just kind of checking out the various modifiers. Yes, there would be a bonus if he was using road movement, but he didn't. He came down this slope. So we're looking at a roll a 5, plus 3 for the RAS, plus 1 for being in a field, not 14. So sort of irrelevant because I just want to stop there, but let's just say I wanted to keep moving. When you're doing friction fire, you use this chart a little differently. Instead of looking at suppress, and step reduction and all that, you just look at these parens. So for friction fire, this one says, if you want to keep moving, you can. That's cool. But you have to take a loss to keep moving. Or you have to stop. So friction fire is not as deadly as an attack, maybe because you're on the move, maybe it's, I don't know. You're just trying to suppress, I guess, or pin units down. And so this would be more severe. You have to take more losses in order to keep moving. Anyway, and these carrier platoons, these carrier platoons are a little weird, but they're like in between an AFV and infantry. So AFVs are essentially immune to friction fire, but these guys are not because they're sort of hybrid. Okay, so there's that. So I'm going to rotate him because I want him to stop. He's ready there for later. Okay, next move. I want to send in an AFV. So this is a pretty wimpy AFV. They are carriers with my machine guns loaded. Okay, so they are just going to cruise. Hey, incidentally, all these guys had to set up within 2 hexes of this, but they're not allowed to move adjacent to any of these village hexes, which is a little weird because I felt like I had to set up next to them. Maybe I didn't, but so I can't move along here. So I'm going to go around a little bit. So we'll go half, 1.5. I'm just going to round up to 2 for now. 2, 3, 4, 5. You might be wondering, why aren't you friction firing from these guys? Well, AFVs are essentially immune from friction fire. 6. Ignore zone of control. 7. Stop. And instead of stopping, actually, they're going to unload. 8, 9. They unloaded the machine guns, dropped them in right here. Okay, so now potential concentric attack here. I want to try to piece together another one, maybe like this. Though, in order to do a concentric attack along that way, I would need another guy there. So one would attack that way, one would attack that way. So maybe I'll just concentrate on like trying to build up forces there for a big attack. Okay, to do that, how about we try to move an infantry unit up, this guy. He's going to try to skirt along this way, going through concealment terrain so he can stay concealed as much as possible. 1. Now, this guy, even though he's suppressed, can spot for indirect fire. He can't fire himself. Now this guy back here looks like he can probably see it too. Yeah, I'd say so. This guy here. Now, your RAS is cut in half if it's 4 or more hexes away, so that'd be a pretty weak attack. But this guy could spot with a -1 for being a distant spotter for some kind of artillery or whatever. Infantry gun maybe. But friction fire does not harm unless the unit wants to keep moving. So let me see. Maybe it can spot for an infantry gun. We got these infantry guns. Their range is 9. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think we'll use this infantry gun that's farthest away for a friction fire attack. Its RAS is 2. So I'm rotating it up. It has a, let me go show you here. It has a red arrow that normally would be pointing to the right. It's right there, it's kind of hard to see. Rotate it. Pointing up means you fired. You could also put a fire counter on it, but I'll just do it this way. Okay, so he's going to fire on this guy. It's going to be plus 2 for the Raz. His ranged attack strength. What else? Plus 1 more for this guy being in a field. Plus 1 more for him being a company-sized infantry unit. So that's a total of 4 I'm adding to the dice. Minus 1 for the spotter being non-adjacent. So it goes back to 3. Well, that's a pretty low chance of rolling a 14. What is that? I don't know, 1 in 12. Okay, 7. Plus, what did I say? 3, 10. It's not a 14. Okay, so that was a waste, but you know, those infantry guns are pretty wimpy to begin with. Might as well just try to get some low probability attacks in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now he moved into a field. This guy's going to friction fire with a 3. It's direct fire. You can see him. Rolled a 5. Plus 3 is 8. Plus 2 for infantry and field. Just not close to 14. So I think ranged fire is pretty tough to get hit. So you want to do lots of ranged fire, and every once in a while you get a good hit. Okay, so that guy's there. I think I'm going to bring his buddy over. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And yeah, might as well move in there. 5. Same guy's going to friction fire. Roll a 5, plus 3, plus 2, not enough. Now, I want to get 1 or 2 of these infantry guys with that machine gun. That machine gun's actually pretty vulnerable. So, let's see. It's going to go 1, 2. Someone want to friction fire this guy at pretty lousy odds. If he was spotting, maybe I'll try a infantry gun, the other infantry gun back there. I'm rotating it up. It's hard to see, but rotating it up. Its Raz is 2. Rolled a 7. 2 plus 7 is 9. It's not a 14. Plus 1 for being in a field. Plus 1 for being an infantry company. Minus 1 for non-adjacent spotter. Not cutting it. So let's see. He went 1, 2. Oh yeah, he took this road into his woods. 1. Then went into here. 2. 3. Now, this machine gun, 3 hexes away, that's a minus 1. It's not too bad instead of cutting his Raz in half. So that's going to be a 4 Raz plus 2 for field and company size unit. Minus 1 for being 3 hexes away. Okay, 7 plus 4 is 11. Yeah, not enough. Go again. This is a 4th movement. Okay, now those guys are 2 hexes away, so there's not a range penalty. They're going to go again. Yeah, this poor rolling. Got rolled a 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 2 is 12, and then finally this guy is going to. Oh darn! I should have gone. This is what I should have done. I should have gone like this. So that's what I wanted to do because going here I would get stuck in the zone of control of this guy. So final move, go here. They will still do a ranged attack. Actually, they can do the ranged attack as it's crossing this border, and then they can pick which side they're gonna, if they get a successful attack, which side it happened in. So they're gonna pick this side. Okay, got a 10. That's a good one, I think. 10 plus 4 is 14. 2 more. For infantry and field, that's 16. Trying to see if there's any other thing, because it'd be nice to get one more higher. Doesn't look like it. So that is a successful friction fire. So basically interdicted this guy. So he has to stop moving, or he can move in here, but take one loss. I think he's just gonna stop moving. Okay, and unlike other games, this guy is not spent. So he can keep on friction firing to his heart's content. Now I just realized a mistake I made, just kind of being a noob. These guys are spotted. They have an adjacent spotter. So before moving him up, I should have started dropping in some artillery on him. There's two guys there. They're in a field. This should be good. I'm going to bring in some more of the Essex yeomanry to do an artillery barrage. So it's going to be 7 plus my die roll. Die roll was 6, so it's not that great. It's a 13. There's a 6. That's 13, and then let's see, they're in a field, so that's 14, but they're dug in, so it goes back to 13. Too bad, too bad. Okay, well, this guy's fired, but this gunner battery is also going to fire. It's not as powerful, it's only a 6. Need a high roll. Got a 7, that's 13, plus 1 minus 1. Nope. Man, what do I need here? I need a 17 to do some good damage. That is possible. 1 in 12 chance, roughly. Okay, I guess this guy's fired. I'm gonna do another one. 1 in 12 chance. Got a 10. Ooh. I don't think that cut it though. I think I need an 11 or 12, which means I probably shouldn't even be trying. Okay, so 10 plus 6 is 16. Yep, plus 1 for field, minus 1 for being dug in. So it's just plain old 16, suppressed. Okay, I'll take it. I just need a suppressed marker. These guys are suppressed, they can't do ranged attacks. Should have done that earlier. These guys are fired, and see there, they're fired, and they're off map. Okay, I still have 1 British battery left, plus I got these heavy mortars over here, plus there's a few other supports laying around. Okay, so those are suppressed. Next move. Well, let's get this other infantry going. Using the road, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just pausing, deciding, does someone want to friction fire? Crossing this border for 5. I think these guys are going to call in mortars on them as they're leaving this location. By the way, line of sight. So from the center of this hex to the center of this hex crosses along this edge, and this side of the edge is blocking terrain. It's okay, as long as the other side is not. You're okay. And also if like, I don't know, let's just say this guy was blocking terrain, then I would be able to see along here into here, but then it would be blocked because this side of this hex spine and this side of the hex spine are blocked. So anyway, we're going to call, this guy's going to call in spotting for mortars that are back here. Their range is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Their raz is 4. Might be silly doing this. Good attack. 10 plus 6 is 16, plus 2 for being a company size unit and in a field, so that's 18, minus 1 because the spotter Well, I should use this guy as a spotter, so he's a spotter. So, so what did I say? 16, 17, 18. So since it's friction fire, and this is what probably something I need to learn is maybe I should be saving these attacks for when combat happens. But since it's friction fire, that's going to mean I have to stop moving or take 2 losses to keep moving. Well, I don't want to take 2 losses because that would eliminate this unit. So they'll just stop there. Not a very good choice, I don't think, by the Germans. And this mortar is flipped up to its fired side. Okay, Lincoln Battalion. They're moving in. Can do some damage themselves. Okay, first, I think, like the other battalion, I'm going to start with this Toad 6-pounder. 1, 2. I think they're going to cut over 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I did that because, well, they were out of sight. They're still out of sight. They're concealed. From this vantage point, here's a hex spine. Like, I'm up pretty high. From this vantage point, I can see these guys back here. Now, I probably should read the line of sight rules because in a lot of games there'd be like a blind hex like right on the other side of a depression, so maybe I can't see those guys, maybe I can't see those guys even. So in which case, if that's true, I'm going to go look it up. Maybe I'd drop them here because then they'd at least be able to see these guys. I'll go double check that. Okay, here's the situation. You can see over a lower elevation blocking terrain as far as you want until you hit a non-adjacent blocking terrain. So I can see over this and into this, but then it blocks beyond. So I can't see down to this guy here, and cuts across here to try to see him. Down the hex spine here, well, it's non-blocking here, non-blocking here, but now this is the first non-adjacent blocking terrain. I can see into it, but I can't see beyond. So maybe this would have been a better spot to drop off. That way I see clear, 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 right into that hex. I can see right into this hex, so that's better. So that's where I should drop off. So now I've got a little more spotting going on there. Okay, got that set up. Now let's get some of these infantry companies moving forward. I don't think they're going to be able to get into the battle this turn. 1, 2, 3. We'll go 4, 3.5, 4. 5. They'll just be kicking it back there. His buddy from back here is going to teleport up to with him. Now these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I guess they'll go into this heavy bocage here. 5. Okay, and I should probably mark these guys as having moved or performed an action during the action phase. I just realized this is kind of dumb of me. I moved this guy into clear. He can spot someone, that means they can spot back. That means they could have called in like a Nebelwerfer rocket barrage on him or something. Well, they can on their turn anyway, so he's very vulnerable. That's not good. Friction fire wouldn't kill him, but ranged attack when it's a German turn, not smart on my part. Well, I'm holding on to it though. It's my bad. Now I was originally thinking I wanted to like get some more guys back here and one more here and try to do a concentric attack there, but I think I'm just going to try to concentrate on this one hex. I need to get a successful win so I can advance this guy into here. I don't want him to be stuck out there all on his own. So I'm going to try to get some more guys back there. So we'll go ahead and do carrier platoon. 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 5, 6, 7. And no one's going to friction fire it because he's already hit his destination. And I know where he's going. Okay. Next, this machine gun. So you go 1, 2, 3. Do I want him in the attack or supporting? I think he's going to support. 3.5, 4, 5, 6. And then he's going to 7, 8 deploy. His combat strength is 3, but his RAS is 5, so he's better at supporting. Last guy. Mortars. Want them to go deploy somewhere out of sight. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is good. Their range, I believe, is 6. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they were good here for a little bit. 5, 6. So they're deployed there. Their arrow is down, indicating they moved and not that they fired. It'd be up if they fired. Okay, so the only things left is one off-board artillery unit. That mortar there. These heavy mortars here. I think I'm going to keep them for the attack and the German turn. So I think that ends the British action phase. Okay, British combat phase. Everybody that has been flipped to the side to indicate they did something in the action phase is going to unflip. Units that have fired with the little orange arrow, they do not unflip. So I'm just going to quickly unflip all these guys. Okay, I did that. I also removed the suppression markers because they come off at the end of the phase that they were placed. Okay, now we're going to do some combat in the combat phase. I'm going to declare combat against these guys here. All these guys are going to participate, so we're looking at 18 plus 7 is 25 to 6. You know, not too bad. But now that we can do ranged attacks, I can call in ranged support. And so as the attacker, I'm supposed to declare who all is going to be providing ranged support. And once I've declared that, and then who it's going to be attacking, and then once I've declared that, then the defender can do the same. And they wouldn't be shooting into here, they would shoot at the attackers. So trying to, I think that it's going to be adding suppression markers. So I think I'm going to have this guy provide support, this machine gun. Is there any reason I wouldn't just have everybody that can see? You know, I'm just going to say everybody not involved in the actual combat that can see is providing support. I guess except for this guy here. So I think he can see him. So everyone here plus this mortar providing support. And that off-map artillery there. Just before I do this, I'm just going to make sure there's like no limitation on how many guys can add support. I don't see anything about having too many guys doing the support. So, okay, so that's the British declaration. The Germans. Well, I think they're going to, they're going to put, let's see, I guess I can do this. Drag some off-map artillery. These guys are going to attack these two spots. They're going to provide support. And then normally you cannot do a ranged attack if you're within an enemy zone of control. However, you can if you're supporting a hex that's being attacked. And the only enemy zone of control is one of the attackers. This is the case for these two guys. So they're both going to provide support against here. This guy, same situation, going to provide support here. And that leaves the Germans with 3 off-map artillery that I want to keep around. So in fact, I should probably put the British artillery there too, to remind myself. That's a lot of stuff going on for this one battle. Okay, let's start working through this support. Okay, I think we'll do the British support first. Let's do this gunner battery, 6 RAS, Modifiers are the terrain in the target hex is dug in, so that's -1, so we'll just say that's 5. I think that's it. Just plain old 5. Yep. I feel like there's something else. No? It's 5. I rolled a 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. Let me just double check there's not another minus here. I don't see one. So that is a suppression. So this guy's going to flip to his fired side. And so now the British big guns have all fired. Okay, you can see the suppressed marker has a 1L, 1R, so we're going to probably get some column shifts here. Now, I mean, these are like probably impossible odds here. So these guys are going to fire. He is concealed from their point of view. Even these guys aren't spotted for them. So we'll do this guy first. It's 2 hexes away. It's going to be +5, -1 for being dug in, -1 for firing into a unspotted, or into a concealed location. Yes. So rolled a 7 plus 3 is 10. 4 plus 3 is 7. I'm looking for 14. So those guys have fired. Hey, what the heck? Let's do this anti-tank gun. It's 2. Rolled a 10 plus 2 minus 2. It's like impossible. This guy 5 minus 2. I rolled a 7, so that's 12. Let's see, can he even do anything? If I roll a 12, it'd be a 17 minus 2. Yeah, okay, so looks like a 4 or 5 is always going to work out. So this guy also blind, firing on a concealed guy. I basically need 11 or 12, and so let's say I roll a 9, that's 14. Yep. This mortar here, he's a 5. He doesn't have a -1 because his spotter's adjacent. So it's just a -1 for dug in, so it's a better chance. 7 plus 5, 12 minus 1, 11. I think that was everybody that was going to fire in support. Oh, I should have done this guy too. I don't know if I called him out explicitly, but I'm like, everyone here is doing it. And then we'll keep our heavy mortars for the German turn. So, yeah, I think I need a 10 or 11 here. Got an 8. Man, just range attacks don't pan out a lot. Maybe it's just because everyone, if you're not in a field, that +1 on a bell curve is quite a bit. So, okay. Now for the Germans. Dropping a 5 in here. That's +1 for at least a company, +1 for in a field. So adding 7 to my roll of 5 is 12. No dice. This one here, same deal. Oh man, I rolled a 3. Okay, this is a 3 attack here. Can I even get it if I roll a 12? Oh yeah, +1 for field. 8 plus 3 is 11, +1, nope. This guy, 3. 7, nope. Wow, these are just horrible rolls. Okay, I think it was all the support I was calling in. This guy says ready in 1 to 3 turns. So I rolled a 6, divide by 2, that's 3 turns. And then this guy, I think it's the same thing. Yeah. Rolled another 6. Man, when I need to roll a 6, I roll a 6. So these guys are coming in on, they'll be back on turn 4 out of 5. Oh, it'd be nicer to get those guys back. Okay, so finally the combat. So, figure what it was, 18, 22, 25 to 2 times 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6, 25 to 6, that's 4 to 1. Concentric attack, 5 to 1. Suppression from ranged fire, 6 to 1. All attackers in a field, back to 5 to 1. Defender dug in, 4 to 1. Armor bonus, 5 to 1. We got it max Max odds. Rolled an amazing roll, an 11. 11 on max odds, that's 6 losses. Okay, take this off. 6 losses, man. Well, max retreat for this guy is 2. Max retreat for this guy is 4. So if I'm reading this right, I think they're both dead. Let's see, so for retreat, 1, that's 5 losses left. 4 losses left. I gotta kill a guy, 3 losses left. Yeah, these guys are dead. Boom, boom. Okay, that was overwhelming. A lot of firepower brought to bear. Okay, advance after combat. Okay, I wanted to get this machine gun out of the way. And like I fired. Okay. By the way, this mortar fired. This mortar fired. Okay, so I want to get that guy out of that terrain. This guy too, because they can fire on him. So getting into slightly better terrain. Guess I'll pull one of these in. This. Leave this guy here. Leave these guys here. Okay, that's my advance after combat. And my combat phase. So gonna end the British turn. I will like reflip all these guys that are not marked fired, and I guess we're starting the German turn. Okay, German reset phase. They actually get to reset things. So any units marked fired are rotated back to unfired. So that basically means if you fire on your turn, you won't be able to fire again until it's your turn again. So sometimes it's good to, I think, keep units unfired, which I did with the British heavy mortars. Okay. I guess we're in the action phase. Well, we lost a key position here. I was kind of hanging out there on the edge. Probably may have been better not to do that. Don't like these guys being in a field. They're very vulnerable. That +1 is doesn't sound like a lot, but it's huge. Do I want to retreat from that field? I really don't have a lot of units to help me out here. If I pull back, these heavy bocage will just fall to the British. Man, this could just be like a complete overrun. I do get, looks like 1 reinforcement next turn and then 3 reinforcements on the next turn, but that might be too little too late. Okay, this guy over here, he's leaving his dug-in position. It's gonna go 1, 2, 3 here. Just need to get ready to block things because, like, you know, these guys might get overrun. The question is, do I want to pull these guys back? And you know what? He's going to go here in with this engineer instead. Then this engineer is going to come over here. Get ready next turn to start digging. I'm going to pull some guys back. I'm going to pull this machine gun back. Well, maybe this infantry back to here. And then vacate this area, throw this guy in here with this engineer, this machine gun. This is the new key point. Also, this engineer has a yellow combat factor, so he's tough on the defense. So that's good. Other than that, is there anything else I want to do? Maybe I should be doing some ranged attacks. Got good spotting here. You know, I could hit these platoons here. They're in a field. I can get +1 for attacking a company. but it'd be -1 for no spotter adjacent. This would be +1 for, I would not have the -1, but I wouldn't get the +1 for them being a company. 2 platoons do not make a company. All right, I think we gotta bring in the big guns. Ranged attack, nimble Werfers, rocket artillery, 8 plus 1 for a field. That's 9. I think that's it. Yep. Looks like it's just a 9. I needed a good roll there. 9 plus 6 is 15. Roll 6. That's too bad. I needed a 17 to do damage. So they're suppressed. Big deal. This noble Werfer comes back 1 to 6 turns later. 3 turns. Okay, everyone's coming back on turn 4. I'm just trying to decide, do I want to husband my heavy artillery? You know, I only have 2 left. The rest are coming back turn 4. I'll hold on to them for now. End of action phase. Also, I'm not going to use any... I'm not going to use my mortar or infantry guns. I'm just going to save that for long shots. Okay, so end of action phase. Press marker comes off. This rotates like this. Combat phase. You know what? Why was I not doing other ranged attacks? I'm stupid. It's late and I'm tired. So I should have been doing more ranged attacks. So now it's combat phase. Everyone's sort of reset. Everyone that doesn't have to track whether they have a fire state or not can do ranged attacks. Well, I guess maybe I'm not as stupid as I was implying, but a little bit. These guys are all in a zone of control. They cannot do ranged attacks. But let's see. These guys are not in a zone of control, so we'll do a ranged attack from here to here. So that's a 3, roll to 6. That's even with modifiers, not going to cut it. Here's a 3 and then another 3. We'll do 2 of those. Okay, another 6, of course. Okay, next guy. Rolled an 8, plus 3 is 11. Yeah, that's it, 11. Okay, this guy's all fired. I should be rotating them, but not going to. Okay, that's the German combat phase. Victory check, no one won. That is end of turn 1.